All right, we're here on the west side of the Capitol building today in Springfield. I had a group of friends that wanted to go in and witness the remapping proceedings, and of course, they were turned away. The People's Building is no longer the People's Building, friends, and this is time to stop. This whole entire remapping process is another, it's virtual again. Friends, this is wrong. This was never, ever about transparency and openness and a process for the people. As a matter of fact, the Democrats recently spent over $20,000 changing out the locks over in the Stratton building across the way here. Why? To keep the people out. This whole process is absolutely wrong. The data they are using is wrong, and it is incorrect. The true data doesn't even come out until September, yet we're remapping legislative maps. Friends, the people aren't picking the legislators. I don't know if you figured this out or not, but the legislators are picking their voters. And I'm calling on the people of the state of Illinois to stand up and stop this nonsense. The people of Illinois deserve to be told the truth. We deserve a governor who tells the truth and stands up to his promises that he made that he would support independent mapping. He lied to us. That process of government here in Illinois has got to change, and it changes now. Thank you very much. Turn it over to Blaine Wilhour.
Thank you. And these people here, they're up here today because they're tired of the lack of transparency. They're tired of the lack of accountability that comes here in this place. And most of all, I think they're tired, and the people in Illinois are tired of politicians saying one thing when it's popular for them to say it, but when it comes crunch time, doing another. You know, Governor Pritzker, Speaker Welch, they both said very, very clearly over and over that politicians shouldn't be drawing maps. But that was before they're in power. Now that they're in power, they have a totally different take on it that is completely unacceptable. And the people, you know, and politicians here under this dome, they wonder why people can't stand us. It's this stuff right here. It's time for accountability. It's time for transparency. The people of Illinois are demanding it. So Governor Pritzker, Speaker Welch, step up, do the right thing. If this thing passes, the Governor Pritzker has to veto this unfair map. And I want to turn it over to our friend Adam Niemerg.
Thank you very much. Folks, thank you for being here with us today. As we all know, the Democrats are calling this process transparent. Well, on the fourth floor of the building behind you in the Stratton, there was a $20,000 lock put in to keep people out, to keep the people of Illinois out, and we have seen today keeping more people out of the hearing process. So folks, this is purely a power grab by the Democrats. This is something that we have to fight against, and we've made it crystal clear, the legislators should not be drawing their districts. You, the people of Illinois should be drawing their districts, and it is incumbent upon the governor to fulfill his promise and veto these maps. Thank you, folks. Thank you for being here.
Now, you know the rules. I mean, right now you got to be a lawmaker, staff, somebody with a blue card. These folks certainly should have known that, or you could have told them. No. You're not getting in.
Now, this is the people's house. This is wrong what's taking place in Illinois, and it's time for it to end, and it's time to return to normalcy. Businesses, government agencies, IDES, DCFS, has anybody went around to most of the government buildings? They're empty. Government's checked out. People need to be part of this process here regardless, and they're not allowed in.
That was not my question. I mean, you could have said to these folks, hey, don't come. I mean, my own son can't get in.
These people wanted to come. That's why they're here.
Well, let me ask you a different question before I let somebody else ask. Just today, about 1:30 this afternoon, the Supreme Court maps dropped. I guess we're going to redo the Supreme Court districts too. What do you think of that particular part of it?
This is madness. The government, the people of Illinois are being held hostage by their elected officials, and only until we, the people, wake up to demand something different, get educated, get acclimated to government, and start doing what our duty is to do, to be involved in government, check in to vote, find out who to vote for, participate, change this thing over, that's when we make this right.
Senator Bailey, in the past you supported legislation that would make Cook County its own state. Would you still support that if you were governor of the entire state?
So I supported a resolution, and I've explained that resolution a lot. Many times when two people are in a relationship or there's a marriage and someone's not happy, someone finally says, "I'm not happy." To me, that's what that resolution was. It was a warning shot. That resolution's an old resolution. As a matter of fact, many years ago, Chicago themselves issued the same resolution, except it was backwards. As a governor, I am going to fight to make Illinois stronger from the north to the south, from the east to the west as a whole, and to make Chicago the great city that it should be. But unfortunately, it's being held hostage with liberal, terrible ideas as well.
So have your beliefs changed since then on your stance on making Cook County its own state?
No. Ever since I signed on to this resolution, I've stated the same thing, that I felt that people outside of Chicago are not happy and we want to be heard. That was the point. That was my point of signing on to that resolution. And I still contend that same argument.
You're three of the most conservative members of the General Assembly here. Why should Democrats take what you guys are saying seriously when you've supported resolutions like that in the past that disenfranchise, a third of the state's population?
I think our friends across Illinois and our friends in Chicago and Cook County should start asking themselves, are they happy? Do they feel secure with their future in Illinois? Do people with their pensions feel secure? I don't care where you look at, Illinois is a mess. And I think people realize that. So who's been dictating the laws for the last 50 plus years? Democrats have. It's time to look to something different, and that's what we offer. Common sense, principled ideas. We don't lie. We keep our word. We're wanting to involve the people to listen and get everybody intact in this.
Senator, how do you respond to the argument that maps are needed now rather than later because candidates are going to be canvassing for ballots as soon as September in preparation for the March 22 primaries?
I completely understand that, but so to the question, it's very important that the people are represented, and if the data doesn't allow for the people, we have no idea, absolutely no idea where people live at in this state, the population. The ACS data that's used by the census, all it does is just pick out the demographics inside the home. It does absolutely nothing for population. So with maps right now, people will be underrepresented across this state.
A quick follow-up, do you believe that using ACS data is going to violate voter protections in the federal government, such as the Civil Rights Act of 1965?
Yeah, I don't think that it has any right of being used in any remapping, gerrymandering process in the state of Illinois. It has a purpose. It is absolutely not for redrawing maps in Illinois.
Have any of you thought about going to the Supreme Court or going to a federal court and saying, hey, cut us some slack here because the pandemic wasn't our fault?
I think that time's coming. So right now it's time to get the people have to know what's going on. Many times the people in the state of Illinois have no idea what's going on behind these walls in this place. And they especially don't know it right now when laws are being passed every day and nobody is allowed to participate or listen.
You say that time is coming. Like, do you know of a lawsuit that's cooking out there?
No, I don't, but there is obviously, when I sued the governor a year ago and won, that's the purpose of a lawsuit. When you are concerned about something, you introduce the judicial system and you let them answer the question. So I'm quite sure that time is coming.
Senator, in the proposed maps, they put a lot of Republican incumbents within the same district. In fact, I believe in one downstate district, there's 4 GOP incumbents. And do you think that was specifically targeted against the most conservative Republicans to try and get, your fellow Eastern Bloc Republicans out of the General Assembly?
Well, it certainly seems ironic that you've got a new group of legislators show up, men and women who are entrepreneurs, who are business people, and we come here and we try to bring common sense to the state of Illinois. So yeah, I don't think there's any accident in that, but all across the state, it's very evident Democrat legislators are trying to pick their voters. That's what's going on.
And last week in one of your Facebook Lives, you had some comments about the January 6th commission that was just voted on at the federal level, disparaging Rodney Davis and Adam Kinzinger for their votes in that. What's your opinion on that commission, and do you think that that's something that Republicans in Illinois should have voted for?
I think it's time to move on and start taking care of the problems that we're dealing with in the state of Illinois and this nation. I don't think any legislator has any reason to go back. That's being taken care of in courts of law. People who broke the law and entered illegally, they're being dealt with. So for any lawmaker to sit here and go backwards and try to be concerned about this is wrong when we have the problems that we have in the state of Illinois.
Well, the Democrats, according to the Republicans, the Democrats oppress them in every way. Rules of the House, rules of the Senate, the maps, etc., etc. When the Republicans return to power, what do you guys pledge to do?
I think if the three of us have absolutely anything to do with that, it's going to be fair. It's going to involve people. It should be. Governor Pritzker had the right idea of an independent mapping process. He campaigned on that. He promised. Now he's breaking this promise. So the people have got to have a voice in Illinois. The people's voice is being stifled right now today.
If I'm a Democrat, I'm going to be part of it. You're not going to just stick it to me like they stuck it to you?
I love that question. Abraham Lincoln said, "Keep your friends close and your enemies closer." And I have a record. We have a record of working with people. It's the only way this can change. That's the only way the state of Illinois is going to get back on track, is starting bringing people together.
We got time for two more.
Senator, with the proposed map, some of these Senate districts especially are narrowly shaped to connect metro areas with metro areas, not as many rural areas in there. What message does that send, especially when it comes to rural areas in Illinois?
I think it sends a message of confusion. And I think that's what the Democrat Party is offering up right now. There is no consistency. There's no representation of that. I don't even know if they understand it, except just to turn things around, spin things on their head, because for some reason a group of new representatives have risen up. We're sick and tired of the status quo, and we've come here, and I think maybe they see that as a way to stifle that. I don't know. Thank you very much for coming out. Appreciate your time.